All right, guys. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? How's everybody feeling?
Great. Really good. Happy to be here.
Good, 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 good. Welcome to Creative Confessions, where we get into it. We're all creators and we have a lot to confess, right? So we're gonna start off here. I'm your host, Killer Kev, or you can call me Kev, whichever you prefer. We're gonna do a couple introductions, starting with myself. I'm a Houston-based photographer of 9 years, specializing in capturing events and live music. I love building new relationships while cultivating existing ones in a way that benefits everyone. I take pride in being part of the creative community and desire to create a space where everyone's recognized, heard, and understood more often. Now, for the most important part, we're going to get into our guests here, starting with Candace Elise Orange. All right, she's a creative director and founder of the CEO Connect agency with over 15 years of experience in upscale branding and product development. She's known for her passion for connecting people to better branding and translating vision into strategic, elevated visual experiences. Her work spans over creative direction, brand strategy, and now is currently curating events that bring ideas, people, and culture together. Give it up for Candace, y'all. Hey, moving right along. Up next, we're introducing the multi-talented beauty Timberland Plattenberg as a property manager, realtor, and published model and actress. I mean, I can keep going. Micro influencer, collaborating with various brands. She's a force to be reckoned with. I'm gonna mess with you. I'm gonna take your word for it. You can also catch her captivating performance in 22.5 on Tubi. We love to hear that. Yes, yes. Tune in, tune in. Give it up for Timberland. All right, moving right along. We have my girl Queen Royal in the building. All right, she's a creative media professional with 9 years of experience in photography. Love that, love that. Videography, broadcast media, and creative direction. As a Houston native, she networks to build a community where creativity thrives. She enjoys positive connections and captivates everyone with a heart of gold. Don't you just love that? Thank you, Queen. Y'all give it up.
Hey
Yeah.
guys, how y'all doing?
Love the energy.
Yes.
Next up, we have our girl Brittany. She's a recording artist, digital strategist, and creative storyteller who blends soulful sound, intentional branding, and cultural insight. Her work lives at the intersection of music, media, education, and personal evolution. Through her artistry and content creation, she uses her voice to explore identity, emotion, sexuality, and the strategy behind building a meaningful creative presence. I'll get over for Brittany.
Yay, Brittany. Hi y'all.
Glad to have you. And certainly last but not least, we have Brianna DeAndre. She's a visual artist and creative entrepreneur who blends art, storytelling, and community experiences with a background in engineering. She approaches creativity through both expression and structure, and her work explores themes of faith, identity, and growth while encouraging others to step into their creative purpose. Give it up for Brianna.
Hey, hey.
So happy to have you guys. Glad you took time out of your day to come chop it up and have some confessions here. So, our topic of the day, first, before I get into it, everybody's a creator here, right? A creative. Would you
Yes,
consider
yes,
yourself all creatives? Yes.
for sure. Correct.
Good, good, good. I am as well. So, that is actually the topic of discussion that we're going to get into. Our topic is, what is a creative anyway? And look, that's the answer is called us. Okay. Apparently that's the answer right there. The answer is calling. So we all consider ourselves creatives. I feel like it's a very broad, wide scope range of whatever a creative is. There's so many different avenues that can go, so many characteristics that kind of play into that. So I
Mhm.
kind of want to kick us off there and we can go in any order. What do you feel is a creative? How would you describe that? How would you define that? How would you tell someone who doesn't know what a creative is, at least to you, what do you feel like a creative is in your own words? Queen, I'm going to start with you.
Cause she got the mic.
She got the mic. Go ahead and unmute real quick. Try now.
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
gotcha. Yes. So as soon as you asked the question, if I were to tell somebody what being a creative was, if they didn't understand what it was to begin with, I would say it's that like fun part of your brain that you don't have to worry about. Like, being a creative is just expressing it in any type of way that you find creativity, whether it is something that is like a physical painting, whether you find your creativity in hairstyling, whether you find your creativity in organizational practices for an event, however you could be creative, it just stems from whatever doesn't feel so stressful. You feel fun when you're doing it, and it's not coming from a place of it could be hard work, but not from a place of stress. It's something that could be joyful whenever you are expressing your creativity.
Okay, okay. I like that. I like that. Brianna, I'm getting some nods from you. Go ahead and I want you to go next. Tap in on that.
Yeah, definitely. For me personally, as a child of God, I feel like being a creative, like that's a calling. That's something that, you are created to do is also to be creative. So I don't think being a creative falls into like a specific category, artist, poetry, writing, any of those things. I think you carry it wherever you go. Like people spot that on you, no matter what group you're in, no matter what room you're in,
Fact.
you are able to bring something from nothing, and I truly feel like that's what a creative is somebody who can look at a blank canvas, whatever form that blank canvas is in, and
Absolutely.
be able to create something and actually execute it. So that's my view.
Okay. I love that. Brittany, you being a recording artist, I'm really curious to see what your opinion might be on that.
My take on it is that a creative is somebody who is a visionary, who is able to bring the ideas in your head to life. And you see things differently, things that other people may not be able to see. As a creative, you can express that and you can put it into words, into a song, into a painting. There's so many mediums that you can do it, right? But having the vision, and I think, like you said, as the woman of God, it's a God given thing to be able to create. So getting a vision and being able to translate the vision is creativity at its max point.
Absolutely. Candace, I'll have you go next.
Yes. So piggybacking off of everybody, my idea of what a creative is, because I've been in arts since a child and I've worked with different business owners and people doing different things. But I do think creatives are people who can, first of all, everybody, anyone can be a creative. Some people just don't tap into it.
Absolutely.
But a person that can bring an idea to life from start to finish.
Okay. Bring an idea to start to finish. I like that. I like that. Timberland, last but not
Yeah.
least, let's hear your opinion.
So my opinion on a creative, I would say it's somebody that is like disciplined. Again, like what everyone else said, like anybody can be a creative. You have to be disciplined. You have to be consistent in your work. Cause like what most people see, they see the posts. They don't know what goes on
Absolutely.
behind the scenes. Like they don't see all the revisions and the outfits and everything that goes into planning to, make this post. So it's about
Mm.
someone that's disciplined, they have a vision and they're willing to put forth the work to put that vision bring that vision to life,
I'm
basically.
glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna piggyback off of that. From in my point of view, I feel like being a creative, like I said, it's very broad. It's a very broad brushstroke, right? It can span whether you're doing singing, whether you make clothes, whether you paint, whether you're like me or Quinn, you do videography, photography, whether you're in some type of arts, working with clay, pastels, it doesn't matter. And similar to what Brianna said as well, we are creators, right? It's whatever you make, whatever you feel like you bring to life that starts within your mind, and it doesn't have to be physical. A lot of people just think it's something that you can hold in your hand and it's tangible. It's just whatever we create, and it can be absorbed
Mhm.
just like we had in our mind. It comes out, and we want whoever the recipient is to understand it the way that we thought about it. Right? It was born here, and we want that conception to be understood by whoever that we're giving it to. But also too, I'm also glad you said that again, Timberland, about we don't a lot of people don't see the posting or anything like that. They just think it's all about that and they don't see the behind the scenes. What are y'all's negatives and positives to being a creator or creative? Like what are the ups and downs that people just don't really understand or don't often see?
Getting into the real
What do
confession
Yeah.
you love and hate? Yes. What are the loves and hates about this lifestyle that we call being a creative? And anybody can go.
first. The time and energy, your brain is never off. People do not understand that. People who, like I say, anybody could be a creative. People who have not tapped into that do not understand that.
They don't get it.
So, just for example, my mom is like into all the government things that's going on. I mean, into Facebook, like everything. And she'll try to like have a conversation. I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear that. Cause, I'm working on multiple projects and I don't want to cloud my mind with all these negative thoughts.
True.
And I have to tell her, like, I work for myself and people depend on me to be creative. And if you are wanting me to do your website and my mind is over here and I just don't have the creative juices, I'm slowing myself down. So just your thought process, your mindset that's a whole nother thing that people don't understand.
Right.
Say, like, to kind of piggyback again, I would say that there's layers behind it. So, like I was saying, like the constant revisions, and like for me, I do a lot of voiceovers. Being creative,
Mm,
like I do have a full time, job where that's my bread and butter. But like being creative is something, that I'm working on. So I'm doing a lot of voiceovers. I'm doing a lot of a lot of revisions and, retakes of everything. And sometimes, like, the bad part about that is in your, I guess, your professional career, people,
mhm.
they don't know how to differentiate that. Like you have people that are, oh, well, she's too sexy. Like she's in this role, like she's in a management role, but you might be dressed like this. And that's kind of one of the biggest misconceptions that I get. Like I'm very professional. I'm very classy. Like I can wear a bikini and still be classy. It's about
Yes.
how you carry yourself and the type of content that I put out there. It's on brand. Like I put out multiple things, lifestyle, beauty, fashion. So I mean it's good and bad behind, behind it at times, but you
Absolutely.
just do it because you love it.
For sure. I agree with that. So, I would like to say that sometimes the yield on the production feels like delayed gratification because, as we know, sometimes you can put in so much work, time, effort, energy into what you're producing. And then once it's out there, you still have to wait for it to grow. Knowing that you put in so much work and then you don't see something happen instantly, that can be upsetting and it can make you want to step back and not even want to do it at times. But I think that's just the realm of a creative, like understanding that the process, it takes iterative steps in order for you to reach completion. And then once you reach completion, you got a whole nother thing to worry about, as far as producing it and letting it go touch and reach people,
Man,
which is what you wanted to do once you put it out there, even though it might be scary sometimes too.
I have
I like
something to
that.
add just that I've like learned in kind of really stepping into the creative space is sometimes it's frustrating when you are trying to share in the process with somebody who's not creative
Mm,
naturally. And you have to recognize when you're having a conversation with a person where that's not necessarily their strength versus with your colleagues who are creative. Because if you have a conversation with somebody who is not necessarily creative and you're showing them the steps of the process, but they're not able to see the end vision of things, that can sometimes like really put you
yes.
down or frustrate you. So you have to really recognize that when you're communicating with people.
Mhm.
Because I've had like several different, discussions where I'm like, do you get what I'm gonna do here or whatever? And the comment is,
Yes.
I need to see more. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I was looking for more. You know what I mean? So it's just a natural part of like conversation that I've learned that you just need to manage that yourself and not get frustrated by it and just recognize that sometimes people can't see the end vision of things until
Yes.
the end vision is created. So yeah, for me, that's been like a big learning since like really stepping into it that you just have to be mindful of that. Some people aren't going to see it, but at the end, they'll get it.
See, I'm gonna piggyback off of that real quick. I definitely can resonate with that. I feel like there's often a language barrier between us that are in this community and those who aren't. And like you said, Brianna, like we kind of have to be. It's like being Duolingo. We have to be able to translate, which I
Yeah.
feel like does kind of come with the job. We are in a space to where not everyone is going to understand what we're conceptualizing up here, right? And it's our job, right, in order for our audience to truly get what we're saying. It's kind of like a serotonin. I know for me, at least as far as a creator goes, if I'm taking a photo or or making some type of video, I want to be able to put this out here. And before I even make it, I have to conceptualize it and tell it to my client or whoever is looking at this, and I know that I've reached my end goal if I'm able to explain it to them and they get the same reaction without even seeing it. It's like the beauty and the beast of it all. It's like I can see it up here, but I need you to see it, but I don't know how to translate that. And it's like it's a skill that we all have to learn, but we didn't go to school for it. But it's like, dang, if I really want Brianna to understand what I'm talking about, I kind of have to learn Brianna in a way. I have to learn her
Mhm.
language, her style, and that's just one person. Imagine trying to convey that to, a sea of people. If you're a singer and you're a songwriter, how I write, I'm trying to sing to a sea of 100 people. Even though it may just be one person that feels me, that's enough. But at the end goal, it's like, man, I want all 100 of these people to feel me
Right.
through these lyrics and through how I
Right.
sing this song.
So to conclude, I wanted to piggyback off of Candace and Brianna. So I'll start off with what Brianna said as far as everybody not having that, creative gift. I will say one of the downfalls of being a creative is sometimes people will try to take advantage of that. Like they know what your ideas are, they know that you are capable of pulling things through to a certain likeness or, a certain degree. But instead of approaching you as a professional, paying you your worth or whatever the case may be, because, your time is valuable too. Some people will try to take advantage of that, being like, well, I'm your friend or I'm your family, or try to cut a discount or try to, things like that. So that's what I'll say is like a downfall of being a creative. I get a lot of opportunities, but I had to quickly realize not all money is good money, because sometimes some
Oof.
people just might be taking advantage of, your creativity. And I would say the good thing is, to piggyback off of Candice, I am a super creative. Like, you're right. The brain never stops. Like, the ideas just keep rolling in, and I
Yeah.
love it. But at the same time, the only downfall of that is sometimes I feel like a caged bird. Like, I can see
Yes.
what is outside of my brain, and I see the photo shoots. I see the music videos. I see the documentaries. I see the books, the novels, the screenplay. I see it all the time, but it takes so much time and effort and dedication to be able to sit down and do it right. So that's what I would say are some of my ups and downs of being a creative.
I love that. I love that. One last thing I'll add too, I don't think people realize just how emotionally draining it can be. And I don't think I truly learned that. I felt it, but I didn't really learn that until probably my fifth or sixth year doing photography and just being creative. I feel like being a creative doesn't really, it's not your typical 9 to 5. You don't clock in and clock out. You don't have a boss that tells you, hey, you're not really being micromanaged, but you don't really have a boss that says, okay, cool, this is when you're expected to be here. And then, hey, oh, it's cool, you can go home. There's no one that I'm going to fill out and saying, oh, I'm taking time off. You know, all of the bear and the burden is really on us as a creative, and sometimes we overdo it. We have the responsibility of saying I've overworked or I haven't worked enough. But then also the third part of that is what we create takes energy, and people don't understand that. It's kind of like being a people person and being like a ambivert, they call it. That's what I am, being an extroverted introvert.
Mhm.
I typically like being indoors, game nights, very chill things that are, very low key. But also, I'm a people person, and I'm magnetic when I'm in a crowd of people. I've never met a stranger. I love talking. I love having conversations. But then as soon as I get home, oh, like it all comes out. I'm so tired. That's what I compare being a creative to. It takes so much energy to put that out. Everybody else is, if it's my party and I threw it, I'm getting text messages and, oh my gosh, Kev, what a party. Oh, you were amazing. You were everywhere. That's the product I love, but people don't know what I'm going through at the house. Like I'm in my PJs. Like I don't know what it took just to put that on, especially if you're an event coordinator. All my event coordinators know having to put on an event takes so much energy and pressure, and you want to put out the best product, sometimes, but that takes you got to have it here, and you don't want to put out something that's half done, something that's lost, something that doesn't represent your best work. People don't
Mhm.
understand. I want to show up as my best self, and I also want to put out the best product, and sometimes it's not always going to be that. Okay, so I want to get into my last question here. What is your vision? Where do you feel like you fit in when it comes to this space as being a creative? And do you feel like your voice is heard enough? What are some improvements that you want to put upon it? Very open, expansive thoughts. I want to hear.
That's
My
a loaded
vision.
question.
But
I know.
all
Very
of
low,
them
yeah.
at one time.
Brittany, I'm going to put it on you. Go ahead.
Wow. So for me, I feel that I do so many things and I am working on building an audience that resonates with what I have going on and for people to understand all that I do. So the type of creative that I am, honestly, if I see something that I want done, I'm going to figure out how to do it. So I've learned how to do photography, videography, editing. I'm currently working on building a digital strategy course to teach people on how to build like media rollouts. And I'm working on my master's, getting my master's in educational technologies, combining like all of these things that translate back into one. And I'm working on the visibility and also like working on myself being seen as creative and accepting the titles that I am because I do so many things and I wear so many hats. So that's where I am. I don't even know if that answered the question, but
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. I'm gonna toss it to Timberland. What are your thoughts? What's your vision? Where do you feel like you fit in? And is your voice heard?
Vision for myself is to just partner with bigger brands, like start making actual, money that I can quit my regular job and be just a full-time content creator. My brand, like I said, like on my social medias, like I'm posting real estate, I'm posting beauty, fashion, get ready with me videos, photos, whatever I want to do, like I'm doing it. Like I'm also working on a documentary with my family that we're doing a house renovation. So this is something new to me. I'm trying to step into more like I know I produced, co-produced, and co directed in a film, and I'm trying to now be the cameraman and get everybody aligned in that. So that'll be my first like I guess film project that I'm actually shooting. But I think that I am going towards that vision. With everything that I'm posting, I am getting a lot more offers to do things. So I think this year I'm definitely gonna I'm definitely moving forward and getting to where I want to be
That's
with
perfect. That's
the brand
perfect.
visibility.
I love that. Queen, I'm gonna toss it to you. I know you always have something planned.
Thank you, thank you. So, the vision will say right now is to just be so consistent. I don't feel like that cage bird anymore because I do
Mm,
have the opportunities. I always network. I have such a vast community in such a short amount of time because I was clapping for you, Brittany, because I actually just finished my master's this time last year. And Kevin
Congratulations.
became my mentor at the beginning of that program. And I've met so many people through him that now I'm cool with the people who do the Black Cinema Club that I do want to revisit my thesis, kind of similar to what Timberland was saying. I have a thesis over my family called Something About the South, because once I took a step back and went to a HBCU, I realized at some point there may be a day where somebody looks at this photo and they're not able to recognize me, but they came from my
mm,
womb, of a sense that I wanted to document my 91-year-old great grandmother all the way to me being 25, 26, and how we've been able to build in the South. However, it wasn't done in a way that I wanted it packaged properly just because of, time constraints, trying to graduate, maintain a job, things of that nature. But I'm definitely ready to kind of take a step back and revisit that and look through all the footage and kind of develop a screenplay so I can get some more writing credit, try to be a producer, things like that. So as far as where do I fit into the space, anywhere that's available. If you need anything as far as a prop, more crafty things, I can do that, photography, videography, but I'm really falling in love in the process and what it takes during the journey and leading up to the destination because the goalposts will always move. But my focus right now is to revisit that thesis, have it packaged so beautifully that I could possibly curate an event similar to what the Black Cinema Club does all the time
good.
around Thanksgiving. So be
That's
on the
good.
lookout for a family film about Black women in Houston, Texas.
We waiting on it. I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it.
that's exciting.
Brianna, I'm
I'm
tossing it to you next.
Yeah, so as a multifaceted creative, I will say that my response is a little broad in the fact that my vision is to have alignment. And what I mean by that is for me to be creating the things that I want to create while also making an impact and then have it be something that I can build my life around. So, like, I want alignment between all three of those things. So, that's really what I'm working towards. I do have a very specific near term goal to do my first mural. So, I'm putting that out into existence right now. So, tell your friends. So that's kind of my overarching vision. And then, do I feel heard? I would say yes. And I'm starting to feel more and more heard. But I think some of that too took me speaking up. So,
Right.
leaning in and realizing that I have things that are worth being heard and worth sharing. So I think, yeah, it's moving in a good direction.
Love that. Okay, okay. Candace, you're taking up the rear.
Yes. So one thing that I did not hear us talk about being a creative was the pain point of always having to prove your value
Ooh,
with clients, other people who are not in the industry because they don't know how much work it takes. And being an art-based creative for most of my life, I have worked with a lot of people, but the thing that I've always noticed is that kind of tug of war between our community and saying, "Hey, this is what it costs. I'm actually giving you a discount." And working with creatives that I saw so much potential in them, and I'm like, "Hey, let me help you get this, so you can get this in place." So, when I changed my business name from Celeste Designs to CEO Connect, I had in mind that I was always connecting people, but I couldn't monetize it. And I'm like, "Well, how do I don't wanna charge somebody just to connect them," but then I'm like, well, I'm connecting people with brands. I'm connecting people to their audience and I'm doing all these things. So throughout this last few years with the pandemic and things like that, I've been pivoting with the agency and what I'm doing and helping more creatives connect to where they want to be, connecting to being more professional, connecting to getting more money, connecting to knowing their worth and not having to always say, hey, this is what I'm worth. Because I had someone say to me as another artist, they were in LA and they're like, Candace, you have awesome work. And you might be high in Atlanta, because I've been in Atlanta for 15 years, but you're only charging for business.
right.
Or no, you're only charging for design. You're not charging for business. And I was like, what that mean? That mean that, you only getting enough money to pay for the little work you and did, but when you go home
That's
and you like,
right.
dang, I need more gas money. I need more rent money. Now I gotta go take 5 more projects. I wasn't charging
That's
for
right.
that. So I am in the space. I'm new to Houston and I am working with financial partners to have classes for business owners, entrepreneurs, and creatives. So it doesn't take us years to find that perfect client. Because, Lord, that's tiring. You got to be creative and you
Amen.
got to go find the client. And you got to put your work out to find the client. So I am really in that space right now. I'm in that bag where I'm trying to help myself, but help other creatives know their worth, put their
Okay.
best foot forward. Like you can't just throw something together. You need to, if you really want the money, you gotta get it together. So that's where I am. And no, I don't know the last question, but I'm gonna wrap it up.
No, that's you answered it. You hit it on the nose. Those are all great answers, guys. I love the thought piece that we had here. Very good group think. I think we touched on all points. If nobody knows what a creative is, I mean, do y'all feel like we all know what a creative is by now?
We
If those
should.
who don't
Should.
know should, I think we've laid it all out there. So real quick, lastly, we're gonna go around about 10, 15 seconds. We're gonna go around, just state your name, your social media, where people can find you. And Queen, we're gonna start off with you.
All right. Can y'all hear me? Once again, my name is Queen Royal. You guys can find me on Instagram at underscore Royal Creations. That's all together, Royal Creations, and then another underscore. And that's it.
Excellent. Candace, you next.
Yes, Candace Elise. You can find me on Instagram at born underscore CEO. And my new page for Houston is Urban Screen HTX.
Excellent. Excellent. Brittany, where can we find you?
I am Brittany Ocean on all platforms. That's Brittni, ocean like the waves in the ocean.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Timberland, where can we find you?
Hey y'all, I'm Timberland, and you can find me on Instagram at XOXO_UR.
All right. And finally, Brianna, how can we tap in with you?
Hey everyone, you can find me on Instagram at Art by BML.
Excellent. And lastly, I'm your host, Killer Kev. Some call me Kev. You can find me on all platforms. Candids by Kev. That's Candids XKEV. That's my photography page. But if you just want to tap in with me, watch some funny content, it's Killer Kev on all platforms. That is a wrap for us here on Creative Confessions, hosted by Black Houston Creators Network. Shout out to all my guests for showing up and talking about what is a creative. Hopefully, we all know what that is. Until next time, guys, tune in and have a great day.